Time, consumers are unhappy about the possibility of a bread price hike. It's expected that the wheat import tariff will go up by 30% soon, with knock-on effects for the bread price. This after the North Gauteng High Court last week ruled that government should publish the new wheat import tariff.
South Africa is a net importer of wheat. We import about 2 million tons a year, which is about 60% of our wheat requirement. While the tariff is important to protect local wheat farmers, an increase will mean millers who import wheat will have to pay more for it. The South African Chamber of Baking says while it's sympathetic to the farmers, the consumer is likely to suffer as a result of the tariff increase.
We've had the El Nino effect, we've had climate change, and we had the terrible drought last year. We've also had the effects of the weak rand, which has strengthened recently, but we never know where it's going to go. So those have all impacted on the price of wheat and therefore the price ultimately of bread. The farmers may need a certain element of protection, and we as a baking industry are very concerned about the plight of the farmer as well, because the South African wheat industry actually produces a very, very good quality wheat. So it would be a shame to see the industry disappear, and certainly they need some form of protection. But we must think of it not just from the point of view of a farmer, we must also think of a consumer.
Agricultural economist Wandile Sihlobo says the tariff increase comes on the back of low international wheat prices.
International wood prices are sitting on at a 6-year low, which is what has caused, of course, the import tariff that we are seeing now. So I could say that, looking on over medium term, we're likely to see it sitting on at these levels that we are seeing now. But what can only change the situation is what we're expecting to get from the Treasury side, where at the beginning of this year, the Treasury released a statement saying that they want to review this current wheat tariff formula. So if there are any changes on that perspective, then we might see some changes also in the current rate. But if they don't make some changes in there over the medium term, for sure we will sit out with these levels that we are seeing now, which is in some sense might add pressure on the food prices.
The South African Chamber of Bakers says the price of bread is likely to go up by about 20 cents a loaf. Consumers are not happy.
It's totally ridiculous, that's how I feel, because most of the families are not going to be able to actually afford the current price of bread.
I'm not going to afford to buy bread for my kids. That's awful, actually.
I think it's ridiculous, eh? The price of everyday living goes up, but salary still stays the same.
Currently, wheat importers pay a tariff of 1,224 per ton. This is expected to rise to 1,591 per ton. Gloria Sefako, SABC News, Johannesburg.